So if you remember, these are the deities which are given in the introduction to the D10 chart and how to read it in the first video in the playlist. You can look it up. But just to recap, the deities are the archetypes of energies which a person will have, which they bring to the profession in the D10 chart. Now, mind you, these deities or these archetypes are only meant for D10 chart, not so much for D1 chart. Okay, forget the natal chart for the time being. Only the Shamsha, the 10th divisional chart. 0 to 3 degrees leadership, 3 to 6 degrees strong work ethic, determined people, 6 to 9 degrees Yama, discipline, strong sense of responsibility, 9 to 12 competitive spirit, 12 to 16 excellent communication skills. Other things are mentioned. I'm quickly recapping. 15 to 18 degrees, they are very dynamic and flexible, quickest to adapt. 18 to 21 degrees is more of financial wealth, astute sensitivity, right? Accountants kind of. 21 to 24 degrees is ability to find purpose and meaning in life. This can again, once again, apply to all kinds of professions, mind you. Just because you're in the medical field doesn't mean you're stuck in hospitals or clinics all the time. You might be able to bring a higher meaning, like Dr. Hegde in India, right? He's bringing a higher meaning to medical science. 24 to 27 degrees is intellectual capability and innovative thinking. 27 to 30 degrees is stability and long lasting success. So, mind you, all of these 3 degrees and 10 divisions in the D10 chart, in the career chart, are very important to consider. So, any planet or point in those particular degrees will have a propensity, will have a drive in that particular direction. That's all it means. It will have that quality. Okay. This is very crucial to understand. So, you should understand this when you're determining the qualities of the planet in a D10 chart. Now, let's see Pusha Nakshatra, what it brings to the table. So, what are the talents of Dhanishta Nakshatra? It is ruled by 8 vasus of abundance. This abundance does not necessarily translate to your bank account. Okay, don't translate everything in abundance to your bank balance, please. Abundance is in terms of all the elementals, earth, air, fire, water, ether, including the pole star, including everything else. You can look up the 8 vasus of abundance, which you can be endowed with qualities that have a talent and ability pertaining to any one of these 8 elements. Okay, Dhanishta people. The dhan or the wealth in this case implying that they may be blessed with talents and abilities which are listed there. Let's go through them. Again, we can see typically somewhat similar in terms of talents with all the other nakshatras as well, but it differs because it's an ascendant which changes. Okay, talents and abilities, creative and performing arts. This is a very arty nakshatra. You can see the musical instruments, the drums, right? The cymbal, the drums, the flute. So for Dhanishta Nakshatra people, if you want to shine in your career, if you don't know what your talents and abilities are, if you have lots of planets or points in D10 in Dhanishta, I suggest you keep some musical instruments in your house, in your bedroom. You may not play it, just keep musical instruments, drums, flute, guitar, etc. Creative and performing arts. They may excel in the creative and performing arts. They may thrive as musicians, singers, actors, dancers, writers, designers, or in roles that involve artistic and creative self expression. Second, technology and innovation. They may excel in technological fields. How is that? We didn't think of technology as creative, did we? They are the most creative. Look at all this YouTube business. They may thrive as engineers, programmers, software developers, IT professionals. Think of Aquarius here, okay? Saturn plus Rahu, they are very good engineers, software engineers. Roles that involve leveraging technology for advancement and problem solving. Leadership and management, that's another area of their specialty. So, may excel in managerial roles, leadership roles, executives, team leaders, mid level, high level executives, okay, project managers, and so on. Organization. Entrepreneurship in businesses. Now, entrepreneurship is leadership, but it's more like I want to do my style, right? Business ventures. They may thrive as business owners, entrepreneurs, consultants, or in roles that involve strategic planning and business development and financial management. We shall see how this plays out in Ascendant. Social work and community service, again Aquarian like. Somewhat Capricorn, more like Aquarius. May excel in social work, community service professions. They may thrive as social workers, activists, non-profit organization leaders, volunteers, or in roles that involve addressing social issues. That's one. Last is research and analysis. This is the one who loves to dig deep, the scientists, the researchers, the analysts, data scientists, and so on. But because this falls in two zodiac signs, Capricorn and the Aquarius, we shall analyze for both simultaneously. Okay? So let's get into the ascendants and see one by one as Dhanishta falls in different houses, what it involves. For the Aries ascendant, it falls in the 10th and the 11th house. You can see there, arrows are marked. So ascendant, let's go by ascendant again. Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika. For Ashwini, it'll be more like in the 10th house. If the planets are in 10th house in Dhanishta, it may be more like leadership and management. If it's in 11th house, it may be more like creative and performing arts. You do the math there. If the ascendant is in Bharani, it might be entrepreneurship and business in the 10th house. And in the 11th house, it might be something like technology and innovation. Kritika, social and community service in the 11th house. And leadership and management in the 10th house. You can begin to observe how creative this nakshatra is. For the Taurus ascendant, it falls between 10th house and 9th house, as marked there. Let us see the ascendants. Kritika, Rohini, and Mrigashira. So, Kritika will be more like management in the 10th house, like we saw. And it'll be more like financial management, banking roles, that kind of a thing in the ninth house. For Rohini, it'll be definitely business and leadership in both the houses, 10th house and the ninth house. More like financial management. Rohini is very business-like. It can be even entrepreneurship and business quality. For Vrikshisha Nakshatra is a teacher. So it can be technology and innovation in the 10th house. And in the ninth house, it may be more of research and analysis, like research scientist, so to speak, that kind of a role. That might be more there. Okay. For the Gemini ascendant, Dhanishta falls between ninth house and 8th house. 8th house is more research and analysis kind, and ninth house is more like management, financial management, teaching, that kind of an area. Let's see the ascendants. Vrikshisha will be more like teaching, social work and community service, not exactly. Technology and innovation, yes, Vrikshisha can be good engineers. Ardra can be good engineers again. The 8th house. Research engineers, background, software engineers, hidden stuff. Ardra and Vrikshisha will be good at that. Punarvas will be good in financial management, right? Management and entrepreneurship and business, but specifically in the area of finance. For the Cancer ascendant, Dhanishta falls between 7th house and 8th house. Let's see the ascendants. Punarvasu Nakshatra, more business partnership like if it is in the 7th house. 8th house, more like financial investigation or forensics, if there is such a thing. Real estate and joint assets also comes to mind because 8th house is the house of joint assets, management of joint assets. For Pushya, it's a teacher. So technology and innovation, teacher of music, creative and performing arts if it's in the seventh house. If it's in the eighth house, Pusha will become more of research and analysis. Even Punarvasu, but more Ashlesha. Last is Ashlesha. Research and analysis. Ashlesha loves to dig deep into different subjects. So there you will have research and analysts, scientists, researchers, analysts. Eighth house is all about digging deep into subjects. That's research at its best, right? For the Leo ascendant, now it falls between seventh and sixth house. Dhanishta Nakshatra in D10. So we have Magha, Purva Falguni, and Uttar Falguni in the ascendant. Now, Purva Falguni and Uttar Falguni for a Leo ascendant in D10 and Dhanishta, prominence of planets and points in sixth and seventh house. A lot of artists can come out of this. Musicians, singers, dancers, that kind of thing, especially if it's in the seventh house. It's all about others. Okay? Purva Falguni and Uttar Falguni both. In terms of Maga, it can be more about entrepreneurship and business leadership, strategic planning, business development, that kind of a thing. Okay. For the Virgo ascendant, we're talking about sixth and fifth house. Fifth house becomes creative intelligence, highest shining point for Dhanishta, fifth and 11th. Okay. So when it comes in fifth house, we'll take the help of ascendants. Uttara Falguni, again, it can go into creative endeavors, it can go into performing arts, definitely. Hasta can go into performing arts in terms of playing musical instruments because Hasta is more handsy, playing the guitar, sitar, drums, whatever musical instruments playing is required. Skills of the hand is Hasta. Chitra is again, once again, creative, so creative and performing arts. So these will become very creative, all three nakshatras in Virgo. Imagine, Virgo is a creative person. This is what Western astrology misses. So, if you are a Virgo ascendant in any one of the nakshatras and prominence in Dhanishta Nakshatra, okay, in the 10th house, sorry, in the 10th sign, in 5th house, you can become very creative. Musical instruments, like a career. In 6th house, however, it becomes like a daily grind of work. So it can become leadership management. It can become social and community service. We got to look at the planets, those planets listed there. And you got to see an eye in your tablet or laptop, okay? Listed there. I don't want to keep going through all the planets. So you have all the planets there, and the arrangement of that you would have to see in your chart. Okay. For Libra, it falls between fourth and fifth house. Again, once again, very creative. Let's see the ascendants. Chitra Nakshatra, yes. In the fourth and fifth house, it can become performing arts, musicians, singers, actors, dancers, writers, designers, and so on. For Swati, it's very individual. It can go into leadership and management and entrepreneurship and business. If it's fourth and fifth house more like finance line, fourth house more like a real estate line. Vishakha, once again, it'll be about leadership and management. Okay, Vishakha is very leadership prone. It can go into creative performing arts. You'd have to see the planets for that. The planets listed over there. For the Scorpio ascendant, now we come between third and fourth house for Dhanishta. Let's see the ascendants. Vishakha, Anuradha, and Jeshta. Vishakha, once again, especially if it's in the third house, it becomes leadership and management. Okay. Third house is an aggressive house, especially if Mars is placed there, because this nakshatra is ruled by Mars. Anuradha Nakshatra, once again, in fourth house, it can become all about social work and community service, because fourth house is the house of heart. Social work and community service, as well as research and analysis. This can be another. Jeshta again will become leadership and business or entrepreneurship. More like leadership, I would say. For Sagittarius, it falls between third and second house. Second house more for wealth and finance management, especially for the ascendant of Uttara Ashada and Purva Ashada. Both can be more into management and leadership. Both are about victory. So we are talking about leadership and management or entrepreneurship and business. So you would check Saturn, Rahu, Mars, or Saturn, Mercury, Rahu, and Mars. In these positions, they can do well. Mula Nakshatra, on the other hand, can become research and analysis. Financial analysis in the second house, research and analysis in the mainstream field like scientists, researchers, data scientists, that can become Mula Nakshatra. Okay. Now, for Capricorn Ascendant, you can part in Ascendant, part in second house. Okay, so if it's an Ascendant, all of these qualities you will have, at least 80%, I would put it. If it's in second house, Dhanishta, then it might again become wealth management, teaching, especially if the Ascendant is in Shravana Nakshatra, it will become like entrepreneurship, but in terms of business coach. Dhanishta, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Okay. If we're talking about the second house, Dhanishta there. Yeah, okay. So that's what's for Capricorn Ascendant. For the Aquarian people, now it goes between first house and 12th house. First house we already discussed. 12th house, what it becomes, it goes behind the scenes. Research and analysis comes to mind. Scientists, researchers, people who work behind the scenes is more better for them. Yeah. Finally, for the Pisces, it comes between 11th and 12th house. Let's see the ascendants. Uttara Bhadrapada, Purva Bhadrapada in 12th, those ascendant of Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada in Pisces, and lots of planets and points in Dhanishta in 12th means more like research and analysis. Also, creative and performing arts, technology and innovation working behind the scenes. Less creative arts. Creative arts will become 11th house, sorry, because it's displaying to the masses. Whereas 12th house is working behind the scenes, so it can be more technology and innovation as well as research and analysis. Revati, it will become more entrepreneurship and business, especially if it is in 11th house, Elon Musk. If it is in 12th house, it might become social and community service because it's more spiritual in nature there. It is not so much concerned about success, it's more concerned about spiritual aspect of giving back to the community. So that wraps up Dhanishta Nakshatra. Next one, we shall be taking the 24th Nakshatra. I think it's Purva Bhadrapada. Right? Yes, it's Purva Bhadrapada. Sorry, Shatabisha. Ishta. Because we come to the heart of Aquarius. For that, you have to see the heart of Aquarius video also. Okay? Take care. Be safe.